This is the Aqua Air Wet Dry Portable Unit. When you receive your unit, it's gonna come unassembled. You'll get in your package, you'll get a muffler, you'll get a hose. This is to supply the water to the power unit. It's got built in internally a 100 PSI pressure pump. And also it'll come with your drain. So I'm gonna show you how to assemble this. The first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to assemble the muffler. This will keep your system a lot quieter. It has two 90-degree fittings on each side. One of them is a female, the other one is a male. The male is what we'll insert into this hose cuff coming out of the side of the unit. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna loosen this hose clamp. Take the male end and slide it inside the cuff. You're going to want the exhaust to point behind the unit. Once that's set, you'll tighten the hose clamp, and now the muffler is assembled. This is the drain assembly. We're going to install it into the back of the unit. The reason it's not on is because it won't fit in the box for shipping, so it doesn't come assembled. It's just going to be a nice snug fit. This handle will be on the top. When the handle's open, the water drains. When the handle's closed, the water doesn't drain. The handle needs to be closed at all times while the system's running. If the handle is open while the system's running, you'll have water come out of your exhaust, which means water will get into your motors, and eventually over time it can rust. Alright, now I'm going to talk about how to supply the system with water for your cleaning. As I mentioned, there's a 100 PSI pressure pump built inside this unit. This right here is a quick connect for water in. The water will go in, it will go through the pump and pressurize to 100 PSI. Then it'll exit the unit through the water out through this quick connect. Take the hose that was supplied with your order. On one side is a male quick connect, and on the other side is a female thread that'll thread to a standard hose bib or a washer hookup. The male will go into the female quick connect into the water in. This will attach, like I said, to a hose bib or your washer hookup. You might not have access to that connection, so you can actually take this piece and drop it into a bucket of hot water, and it will suck the water out and pressurize it. For a long-term cleaning, it's best used to be hooked up to some type of permanent water supply. But for portable, a bucket will just be fine, but make sure you watch it because it will run out quick. So make sure the drain is closed. Now that we know how to assemble the portable system, I'll show you how to use it. This is the suction port. You'll take your hose and it'll plug in right there. This right here, as we talked about, is the water out. You'll take your water line and you'll plug it into the water out. The power unit has two switches. One is your vacuum, so that's vacuum on, and one is your 100 PSI pressure pump. Pressure pump on, pressure pump off. The reason why there's two switches is because the pressurized pump has a pressure switch in it. It has to have water flowing through it to be able to work. It'll automatically shut off once it reaches 100 PSI. So if you're doing a normal dry vacuum and you have your pressure pump on, it won't have any water to suck up. So the pump will continue to run, which can cause the pump to eventually burn out over time. So if you're doing any type of dry vacuuming, make sure pressure pump is off and vacuum is the only thing on. If you're doing a wet clean and your water connection back here is connected to water, then you can have both switches on. But make sure when you're done, both switches are off. Now I'm going to go over some simple tips on how to keep your portable clean and working efficiently. To clean the system, you'll pull out this float cord. Just kind of wiggle it back and forth till it pulls out. And that'll allow this to break off once you undo the latches. Once the latches are undone, you'll take it and you'll flip it over. Once it's opened up, you can take a standard hose or some water and make sure you flush all this out. Go ahead and have the valve on the back opened so that the water can flow out. Clean this out, make sure that this float is clean. This is what's going to turn your system on and off as it fills up with water. So make sure that's all cleaned out. Once that's cleaned out, I go ahead and I keep this open to continue to let air flow in it so that it doesn't get soggy. Next, there's a filter in this cone. This filter is used for whenever you do any type of dry vacuuming. If you're vacuuming up any light dust or dirt or sawdust or anything like that, this is what filters it from going into the motor. This, if you take it and you pinch it, it'll pull right out. Once it pulls out, you can wash it under the sink, wring it out, take it, and pop it right back in. Once that's all cleaned out, you'll go ahead and you'll put your system back together. And like I said, I usually keep this drain open so that it has airflow. Take your float cord and plug it back into the bottom prongs. Now that you've done that, it's ready to put away to your next use.